guys, today we will be talking about the 1950s, specifically the role of women in the 1950s. The early 1950s was spanned by the recovery from World War II. In the early 1950s, women's roles were largely defined by domesticity, with a strong emphasis on marriage, motherhood, and homemaking. People were told to focus on the American dream. In the 1950s, the American dream was centered around the idea of achieving prosperity and happiness through hard work, specifically through home ownership, a stable job, and for women, raising a family. It often involved moving to the suburbs, owning a car, and partaking in many other domestic activities. This vision was fueled by the post-World War II economic crisis. The 1950s had very rigid gender roles. Men were expected to be breadwinners, and women homemakers. In the 1950s, many housewives experienced a sense of dissatisfaction and even depression. This was described as the problem that has no name. We now know today that this was caused by strong societal pressure for women to conform to the role of housewife and mother. Women were forced to prioritize domesticity over personal aspirations. This ideal, often prompted and promoted in media and popular culture, clashed greatly with the reality of women's experiences and desires. Housewives were expected to be the happiest person on the planet. This exact phrase was used multiple times. This led to a sense of guilt and inadequacy for women. During this period, the emotional and psychological needs of women were often overlooked, with their experiences being dismissed or trivialized with the excuse of, "You stay at home all day, what could you possibly be sad about?" Many women felt a lack of purpose and fulfillment in their domestic roles, leading to feelings of emptiness, frustration, and depression. Feminist writer Betty Friedan brought this attention to the widespread discontent that many women were afraid to admit. She highlighted the embarrassing lack of language there was to describe the feelings of emptiness and dissatisfaction that many women were experiencing. A lot of women thought that their problems were due to childhood trauma, specifically growing up during World War II. Several sedatives and tranquilizers like Miltown and Valium were prescribed to housewives. Doctors claimed that they would manage symptoms of anxiety and depression. Though these medications did help, they couldn't fix everything. At the end of one of the lists of these side effects for taking the pills, there was an image of the mother taking medication. The text read, "With these, the medication, now she can cook breakfast again." Many advertisements in the 1950s that were aimed at women were crude and disrespectful. One brand reads, "If your husband ever finds out you're not store testing for fresher coffee, if he discovers you're still taking chances on getting flat stale coffee, woe be unto you." The brand then goes on to advertise their product. A toothpaste brand reads, "No wife wants her husband to carry the memory of her morning breath to work with him. The attractive women he meets at work during the day don't have it." The slogan of a popular Thai brand, Van Heusen, was, "Show her it's a man's world." A brand of ketchup often advertised how easy their bottles could open. Their slogan was, "So easy, even a woman could open it." These are all likely shocking for the reader or listener, and I wish I was joking when I said them. The misogyny is so clear. This, of course, only led women to feel worse about themselves. Expectations didn't stop at the mind. They also reached the physical body. Accentuated curves were desired. Women, such as Marilyn Monroe, who would unfortunately be considered plus-size today, dominated this era. There is a list of pin-up measurements that were expected of women in the 1950s. I will read them out in the list. Neck, 14 3/4, 35.5 bust, 22.5 waist, 36-inch hips, 22-inch thighs, 12-inch calves, 15-inch knees, 8.5-inch ankles. This is all sadly specific. Every woman was held to these standards. A big trend of the 1940s and 50s that many people still recall today is the bullet bra. Bullet bras were initially designed for functionality and support, particularly for women working in factories during World War II. The cone shape was thought to provide better protection. Actresses like Marilyn Monroe and Lana Turner greatly popularized the style. Bullet bras were seen as the peak of femininity. Early 50s style also consisted of mainly tailored tweed dresses, ankle-length dresses, low necklines and long skirts with petticoats. A particular favourite style of mine from the 1950s is the poodle skirt. Poodle skirts are long flowing skirts puffed up with layers of netting underneath. They could be any colour, but they were most often pink, and of course they had a little poodle at the bottom, sewn in, usually with a leash trailing up the skirt. Of course, this poodle was not an actual animal. Poodle skirts were known as the first teenage fashion trend, and they were perfect for dancing. 1950s outfits for girls were all about emphasising the shape. Early in the decade, this was done with a tight-fitted bodice, nipped in at the waist, and a full circle skirt. As the years moved on, this evolved into the narrow pencil skirts, still with the emphasis on defining a woman's silhouette with petticoats. Cat-eyed glasses and polka dots also grew in popularity during this period. Instead of bold patterns and piles of fancy adornments, as most people may think, 1950s shoes were classy single-colour pumps, flats, wedges, or sandals and loafers. Black and brown 50s shoes were the main choices for day wear, while brighter colours were acceptable for summer sportswear or house slippers. Pastels dominated the cosmetics scene in the 1950s, with powder being made up of a number of different pastel tones. It was very common to find pale pinks, soft greens, light blues, pastel yellows, and light violet colours would be mixed to make the perfect pressed powder compact. This technique is still used today. Women drew fuller eyebrows with a prominent arch with a dark eyebrow pencil to colour them in. Eyes were expected to have the doe-eyed look, with natural dewy mascara. Foundation was natural, either cream or liquid could be used. Blush, or rouge as it was called back then, was placed on the tip of the nose and the cheekbones, but not too low down. The full lip look was achieved with a pencil outline. 1950s hairstyles for women included a variety of looks, from short and sculpted styles to longer, more voluminous options. Let's go through the popular ones. Short hairstyles were often simply a poodle clip, which is a short curly bob, most often permed to achieve this look. A simple ponytail was common for young women or girls with fringes, bangs as they call them in America. A scarf bouffant involved teasing and pinning the hair to create a height and then covering it with a scarf. This was a very popular look. A bouffant is hair that has been styled into a rounded shape. Let's talk about something that almost everyone associates with America in the 1950s. 1950s diners were very well known and crucial American establishments. They were known for their affordable food, extended hours, and, as we would see it today, retro aesthetic. They were a popular hangout spot, especially for teenagers, and became a symbol of 1950s American life. Diners featured a distinctive look, with elements like colourful booths, wood panelling, and black and white porcelain tiles. Diners offered fast food, including burgers, fries, milkshakes, and other breakfast staples. One of the well-known milkshakes is a Coca-Cola ice cream float. The recipe involves pouring Coca-Cola into a glass, adding 2 scoops of vanilla ice cream, and then topping it off with more Coke and sometimes a cherry or whipped cream. Diners were known for offering pocket money-friendly meals, making them accessible to a wide range of customers and teenagers, who were the most common visitors. A big appeal was that they were open 24/7. This means 24 hours a day and 7 days a week, but I'm sure you already knew that. Diners evoke a sense of nostalgia for many, representing a simpler time in American history. And that's where I leave it for today. That's all I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've been listening to this long, comment an anatomical heart emoji in the comment section. I got the information for this video from a bunch of different websites, various textbooks, plus I also watched a few YouTube videos to get a good wide range of knowledge. If this was a nice mix, let me know in the comment section. Look out for the stars. Bye!